Hello, and welcome to episode 16. We're getting up there, girls, on When Pigs Fly. Welcome back to all of you loyal listeners. We love you, and thank you so much for all of you who are subscribing and liking our episodes. We are sending all of you big love right back. And we wanted to tag on to our last discussion where we did get into some talking about food and the energy attached to it. But today we're specifically going to talk about how loving yourself includes loving your body as it is. So, Renee, I see you nodding with a very confident look there. What do you have to share on this subject?
That when we are not in love with our body, and I can tell you, I know a lot of people that are like, no, 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 I don't even know what that means. It's you're feeding the wrong stuff to your body. What you're actually doing is you're creating a separation. The energy healers are now stepping in and they're saying you are creating this energetic separation within each and every aspect of not only the cells and the organs, because the cells and the organs of our physical form communicate with each other and they work together as a whole. So when you're saying, I'm fat, or I don't like this, I don't like my nose, I don't like like whatever it is, I don't like this wrinkle, whatever it is, what you're doing is you're creating a separation within the cells and how they communicate. That separation is also within your human element, mind and brain, that now starts to create a physical separation within your entire body. Now, when I say that, we have many bodies within us, the emotional body, the physical, all those things. So that starts to separate as well. All of a sudden, we are creating more sickness, more illness within us. We're not eating the things that our body is trying to say, hey, you're creating separation within us. Here is something here. All of a sudden we get this ache, we get this craving. I have this craving for this. All of a sudden, I don't really like cucumbers. Why am I craving a cucumber? I'm not going to eat that. No, eat it, because your body is saying to you, this is what we need to help show the other organs that, look, at I'm not the problem here. She's the problem, or he's the problem. They're the ones who are putting that in the field. We have to start to really honor and pay attention to our system so that we're not have this separation, and we're looking at it from a point of view of, okay, I will start to honor myself and what I'm feeling I want to eat, and I'm going to eat that because as I'm taking this in, I'm taking it in with love. Not, oh my God, I hate this food, I don't. No, give yourself a chance. If you're craving it, your body is saying, I need it. It needs it for something. A lot of times, like let's say you can't have dairy or whatever it is, and your system is creating like whatever the opposite of that is. It's craving because it's saying, I need this because I'm not getting it into my system. And I know I had a friend who would clear allergies by tapping on the meridian points, and the allergy would clear. And what she said she found was people that had addictions, and this is sort of something different, but people that had addictions were like alcoholics. Okay, she was basically talking about. And she said when they had this addiction, what she found was people that were addicted to beer, that they were allergic to barley. And she said, I'm pretty sure like that's what it was. And she said what she found is she cleared the allergy, and all of a sudden they were no longer needing to do that, because when your system, and that they found was, well, I'm really addicted to this, I need this, because yeah, your body's saying, I need barley. I need barley for whatever in my system. And the minute they cleared it, and then they were absorbing that barley, whatever it was in their system, all of a sudden they weren't wanting to drink as much. They weren't wanting to do all of that stuff. So it's that point of like, when you pay attention to what your system is calling for, you will be amazed at what starts to happen. I'm not saying go on addiction, but recognize that as, okay, look, it's something else is going on here, and I have to have this cleared or checked or whatever it is. But paying attention and loving as it goes into your body, because not only is that going to go into your body, and with that love and start to nurture your whole system, that also is you telling yourself, number one, I'm paying attention to you. I'm paying attention to your body. I'm no longer thinking I'm in charge. But not only that, I love you. And that ultimately will come into a thing where you'll look at yourself one day and be like, oh my God, like there I am. I love myself. And you'll be shocked.
Yeah, and that your wellness is assured, and acknowledge that instead of, and get out of self-judgment. And also, you must be consciously taking your food in. If you're eating and multitasking, you're not consciously taking your food in. You're just, oh, my stomach felt empty and it's like just stopping and going, oh, this is an opportunity. What kind of energy do I want to put in my body right now? What just like literally, that's a step anybody can take. You can start doing that immediately. And then thank your body. Thank you for all these things. And like you said, it's dis-ease. When we create dis-ease in the body, it's because you're disrupting the natural flow of what our body already has the intelligence to do. And you're not honoring it. And then getting back to, and how do you start? You can start from wherever you are at by saying, you know what? I love you, body. Thank you for everything you do, and thank it. And then honoring and saying, okay, I'm guided to have this right now. And don't attach it to any old belief systems or societal beliefs or any of that. It has to be, okay, my body's really making me feel like this is what it wants right now. And don't question it and say, okay, I'm just going to give it what it needs and give it love with it, right? Tracy, any thoughts?
I have a couple additions to the conversation. One is I set the intention that my body points me in the right direction, that it's not even a choice for me, kind of like what we're saying, if we just follow and listen. And then I set it for, everyone in my house. So we have the inner knowing of what we need in the moment that is best going to serve us in the moment. And that it's just natural. We just choose it. We want it. There is no effort. There is no choice. And then I had this just come into my awareness, so I'll bring it up. I have seen and been shown how we are moving back into a energy and environment of symbiosis. So by design, we are meant to have a symbiotic relationship with everything that is natural. So that means our food that is from the purest, most natural source from the earth. Now, we could go into a big conversation of pretty much everything has been corrupted and polluted, the air, the soil, the water, but we are moving in a new direction of purification in the energies. So really, I'm doing this for myself because I think it's beautiful and it's the direction I want to go, is working on symbiotic relationships. So I buy my food from the farm, organic. I love that concept for me to have a relationship with the bees. I've gone, as far as a bee bite shouldn't sting. It should be an exchange of intelligence. How beautiful. So this is a big conversation, but I think this applies to loving ourselves and loving the purity and the beauty of life as it was intended to be before it got so man interference and corruption and all the pollution. And that's okay. It's, the great experience that we're been put in. But here's the boomerang in the conversation. I've seen energetically that anything inorganic that we are putting into our bodies is not going to serve us going forward. And this speaks right back to what you said, Renee. We are creating more division, more separation. We are not allowing our body to be in coherence. So to be mindful of what are you ingesting through the skin. I mean, this goes, people's words, what words are you putting out? This is a big conversation, but you're putting anything inorganic, synthetic in your body, it is not serving your body. And we could go off on many, all the lotions and potions that are supposed to make us beautiful, Botox, plastic surgery,
medication.
Yeah, I mean, there's a plethora of things that we ingest, inject, insert into our bodies that are not organic. They are synthetic, and we are only fueling what Renee spoke to of the
separation.
Separation, disconnection.
You're not allowing your body to do what it is already designed to do perfectly. Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. And so now let's flip that into what are some things that you can do? Okay, so now you recognize, okay, look, I'm ingesting all of this stuff, or I'm buying this food that's not organic because organic is pricey. And I know a lot of, people say, I can't afford organic stuff. So, I usually say, okay, well, can you start your own? Like, can you, they've got like that Zoe Deschanel. She has started that like lettuce, whatever, and you can grow your own plants or whatever they were. And okay, so start something your own. So you've got something that's coming in organic, that you're providing love to every time you're doing that. When you go and you purchase the food, and I know a lot of clients do this, when you go and you purchase that food, put your hands over it. And just like, whatever, I'm providing, I'm sending all of this love, or anything and everything that comes into my body is nurturing and loving every aspect. And I know when I used to make dinner, and well, I mean, I still make dinner, but when I used to make dinner and the kids were young, I always blessed the food. I always gave it appreciation and love for feeding my family, for giving your life to feed my family, and it's nurturing us and blah, blah, blah. And I remember the one time I was just in a rush and I didn't do that. And I remember my kids all said, "This doesn't taste right, Mom." And I said, "Oh my God, I forgot to bless that." So we just all sat there and we were like, okay, we're just sending love and blessing. And thank you so much for giving your life to feed us and to nourish us and blah, blah, blah. And then they ate, and they're like, "Yep." And they all said, "Oh, there we are." And then they ate it. I mean, they were young. They were, probably like 6 and 7, 9 years old. So, it was that point of what we are thinking, or if, oh my God, these groceries are so expensive. That's the energy you're putting. You're putting in an angry energy into that.
Lack.
That
And
is
it's a lack.
coming in. Yeah.
It's just not, it's not an energetic of love. And, it's, when we talk about abundance too, and realizing that from the beginning of man, we cultivated nature's bounty. We already know we have the ability to cultivate nature's bounty, and that is infinite. It's never stopped. And so, and I feel like what Tracy was describing is that's what we're getting back to. How can we get back to, cultivating, and you can't hold on to these other things. There's hydroponics. You can grow vegetables with hydroponics that are, there's different, but it's having that curiosity about it and saying, okay, how can I? And we're not, mind you, we're not suggesting that overnight that you all of a sudden say, okay, now how am I going to, but be open to that and just have the love and respect for your body in saying, is this what you really need right now? Or and then if it's, you only have access to whatever food it is, say, whatever your situation is, I only have, you still bless it and give it love, because that's how you're ingesting it. And that's really important. Like, we're not, if you're saying, I don't have access, or I don't live in a place where we can grow it right now, whatever that may be, that does not mean that you can't bless your food and ingest it with love. That is still has to be a part of your process. And then just what we're saying is to learn, and through loving your body, you're going to be guided to, like, all of a sudden, wait, why am I craving this, like a lot of fruit, right? Well, because that's, again, it's nature's bounty that's been cultivated, and it's nonstop. And you can tie that in, that ties you into an abundant flow too. And you don't go, oh, this apple was expensive. No, this apple is part of nature's bounty. That's part of your abundance. It's part of the harvest. And looking and shifting your perspective on that and saying, oh, wow, look, I've never been to the market where there wasn't an apple. I've never been to the market where there wasn't an orange, right there. It's like, right. And so it's just kind of shifting your view, and then being able to tap into that guidance and saying, okay, wait, being consciously aware of, and why are you ingesting this? Because if you're ingesting it for a purpose of vanity and acceptance, you're in a shit show. If you're ingesting it to assure your wellness, now you're in the right energetic, and that's how you want to receive. And that is what we're talking about here when we're saying love your body as part of loving yourself, loving your body exactly where it is at, right? Don't, from the last episode, stop playing look at my owie, and then say, oh, I'm curious. What does my body need that it's showing me? Because there's dis-ease in this part. So how can I do my part? Yes, you want to send love to it. Yes, you want to say, okay, be curious about what caused the energy to kind of get stuck in there. How can I let that go? And then focusing on wellness, your wellness that already exists. Consider yourself already well, and go from there and say, what am I guided to ingest? That's my practice anyway.
I love that. Tracy, you look like you're in thought of something.
No, my cat's about to put his nose in a candle, but she's creeping away. Anyway, cats are pretty smart. I think she'll back off. But anyway, I want to add that we do live in an abundance universe, but we live in a natural, sustainable universe full of abundance. And I would encourage anyone to check if they've gotten themselves in a situation that they are reliant on something that is not natural. And this goes back to, we are going to be pushed and called to ground into release from the support systems. And I'm not a big apocalyptic, oh, the doom and gloom. I'm not. This is coming into coherence with the energies that are coming at us strong and hard. And I see it as an equation. And a lot of people have set themselves up of a life equation that is not sustainable, and it will fall apart. And it should, and it is for their own good, but it could be painful for most. So maybe take the news flash now, because if there's something out there that is synthetic and you are relying on a company, a corporation, a government, a system, a supply chain that, oh, by the way, does not have your best interest in mind. All they really care about is their profits and their own greed. Your supply chain could be cut off. Yeah, and suddenly, this is huge. And it's not to call anyone out. It's not in judgment, but yeah, I'm going to use Botox because so many people do Botox. What happens when you can't get it for, I don't even know how often you do it. What happens? What if you couldn't get Botox for the next 3 years because that factory in China told the US to screw off? Well, guess what? You can't get your Botox. What are you going to do? Because if vanity is what you value most, which I'm going to say it's probably pretty far up there if you're spending all your money on Botox. No judgment. These are conversations that are difficult. There's not an abundance of Botox. There's not. That universe is not going to be abundant for you. Right? Because
yeah, I'll go right back to you, Tracy, though. But on top of that, your soul picked this body. Your soul picked this body. And you're
go ahead.
Out of separation now, literally pushing against your own wellness. So yeah, go ahead, Tracy. I wanted to jump in there with that because
let me jump in too.
You picked this. Go.
Yeah, because I was told that our soul picked the body that we were least likely to accept and to like, to provide us the ability to go back into love. Because when we can finally love ourselves, we're back into that beautiful synchronicity of everything and going back into oneness. Okay, Trace, go ahead, finish. Sorry.
It's just an interesting, I think it is very valuable to people to start asking questions. Again, is it for the whole or for the one? And what's the drug we talked about it, that's the diabetic drug?
Ozempic.
That's a big one. I know a ton of people are taking it because they want to stay thin. I would just encourage everyone, what about the poor diabetics that actually need that drug right now for their belief system that they are in a state of, these are big conversations. And I am concerned when all of a sudden no one can get that drug. Because again, all the pharmaceutical companies in China, there's interference energy, and that could happen because guess what? We might need a big wake-up call. And I know this is a heavy, heady conversation, but it's something that people actually need to ask themselves, because you're putting yourself in a situation that quite possibly could be severely to your detriment. So how strongly do you need to be in that situation right now? And again, I went to the big power punch because I like to go for the power punch because food, whatever, like we'll always have food. The supply chains aren't going to shut down. I'll always be able, someone will always put some food in a box that I can, throw in my freezer, whatever this, and I'm being really shitty and catty about it on purpose. But I also think this is a shout out to the world. Hey, listen up, because it could be coming. Are you ready?
Or am I loving the body that I chose? Am I loving the body that I chose? Is this an act of love? Is this an act of self-love? And you know the answer when you look in the mirror and ask yourself that, whatever you're contemplating doing, is this an act of self-love? You will get the truth. You because if you feel a push, a resistance, that's your soul saying, No, we picked, like Renee said, what happens if you have curly hair, you want straight hair. If you, right? If you're big boned, you're like, oh no, why can't I be like Skinny Minnie over there that can eat her ass off and not gain a pound? Absolutely is true. But whatever you want for your body, whatever behavior you're desiring, you are a creator. You must love it where it is at now as is. You must, it's like anything, fall in love with it and get into acceptance. Acceptance doesn't come from other people. It's your own acceptance of yourself. It's your own acceptance and your own love. And saying, I tell my body every day, I do a ritual, part of my meditation. I love you. Thank you for breathing. I tell my lungs, thank you for breathing. And why? Because I want that shit to keep rocking it. And I know that you guys are aware of this. I'm 19 years and counting. My body does not get sick. And it doesn't, because I'm honoring what my soul wellness is. Why in the heck wouldn't I? Right? And we all have this ability to learn it. And it's, again, it's letting go of any of the belief systems and anything that is not benefiting all. Why are you doing this? If you're doing it, for vanity. And I can already hear the arguments coming back of, yeah, but that made me feel better. If it only is making you feel better from a standpoint of acceptance of other humans, you're not loving yourself. You are perpetuating separation, and there's an end to that. That is not in the abundance. That is not in the being sustainable. I'll share a quick story about, since we brought up abundance. There is an Easter Island off the coast of Chile. During the, they were completely reliant on boats bringing in supplies to the island. Well, during the pandemic, the island, and it's a beautiful island, and it's where there are natives that still live there, that are indigenous to the area. They got together and said, know what we need to do? We need to all pitch in and take care of the elderly. We need to start growing our own food. We need to get fishing. They said, we're not going to stop existing because those boats can't come over here. And do you know what? The island is now 100% sustainable. And they took on, that is what the exchange, people only took what they needed. And what did they do? Newsflash, they helped each other. They helped each other. What do you need, neighbor? Oh, I've got that. What do you need? Oh, you've got some of that for me. That's the abundance exchange that is sustainable. They learned, they cultivated their own land, they cultivated their gifts, but we don't stop. You have to stop and notice that and get in. And look at this, to this day, they said when we open back up and those boats come back in, we're staying. And that's like a perfect example of an abundant, sustainable economy that is in the middle of the freaking ocean, 2,000 miles from the nearest land. So you tell me that we don't have similar resources to do the same, huh?
Exactly. And really
Right?
loving each other in addition to ourselves. But also look at, if you don't love yourself, I want you to look and say, where did I get this belief from? Why don't I love myself? Did somebody tell me that as when I was young? Did somebody judge me and I took that on as, well, somebody didn't like my nose, or someone didn't like this, or somebody said I was looking old, or somebody, like all that stuff. Really check in with yourself. Is that really your belief system? Or did you take that on because you wanted to be accepted by society?
Yeah.
Right? That makes
And
sense.
do they perceive that somebody else doing that has more love than the perception is, oh, look at all the love that they're getting. And I would question you to say, ask that person if they're happy. Because here, Renee, I think I shared this quote with you. Happy people compare themselves to no one. Happy people compare themselves to absolutely no one. There's no upkeep necessary. It's just, what does my body need today? I love you, body. Thank you for the bang up job you are doing. You're amazing. Boom.
Or I would say, this is what I do. If I see something, ooh, I like how they have or their body, I'm like, I want that. I'm going to claim that for myself. So it's not a comparison. It's I
Inspiration.
want that. I'm going to bring that into my field.
Yeah. It's an inspiration, and doing it from a point of wellness, and with wellness as the goal, not the goal being, oh, okay, they got that thin, so I need to get that thin. It's, oh, okay, no, I want more wellness. I want, flexibility looks like it would be good. Or I want, it looks good. I want to, be able to move my body a little more in different ways. So what looks like it would feel good for my body? That's got to be your why. What looks like it would help me love my body, right? How can I bring more love in? And it can't have anything to do with another soul. It absolutely cannot. You can't do this 99%.
Right.
It's the wellness is already there, but you must absolutely allow it to come in and don't again, we'll go back to the mirror work. And for some people, this is a hard one. Can you stare at your body in the mirror and say, I love you the first 10, first 20 or 50 tries? You may look down and go, oh, right. And then, but really, when you get into that energetically, you are now, that is where healing happens. That's where your cells are all connecting and doing everything they need to do, going, oh, good. The bitch picked me and now she's telling me she loves me again. Now let's get back to wellness. She's not putting shit in thinking, oh no, I got to change my nose. I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't look as thin as this one. I don't look, and back to wellness, because ultimately, what does wellness give us? You're in security. Wellness gives you the best psychological security you could want. And, again, we're like, expand your thought process here with us, expand and go, okay, when I'm well, what does everybody say? If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That's the real psychological security you want is you tap into it. It's already here for you. And we're giving you some hints here. Just be curious and begin where you're at. Don't, it can feel like a big leap, but you can start wherever you're at and do a small step, look in the mirror and tell your body you love it every day. And that shifts that needle. And focus on the wellness, not oh, what's wrong or what could I be doing like my neighbor? Like, get your eyes shift your eyes inside. It's all an inside job at the end of the day, right?
It is so true. And remember, if there's something you don't like about your body, and that's what you're thinking about, that's all you're going to see. And if you're saying, oh my God, I'm fat and I can't lose this weight, congratulate yourself, because you've just created, I can't lose this weight. And your body is always going to respond in what you're telling it. So you're telling it, I can't lose weight. All of a sudden you can't lose weight. And you can say, oh, but I eat this stuff and I, I don't eat this, and I don't eat that, but I'm still, this weight and I can't seem to lose weight. Well, yeah, because that's the message you're giving. So that's why even if you don't believe it, when you start to say, I love your body, you're putting the right message there. Look at how wonderful and thin we are. We are our ideal weight. How awesome is that? Even if you know you're not, you're starting to reprogram. You're seeing it from another perspective.
Yeah, but it's a higher level discussion here, but what you're doing is in another parallel reality that what you want to see in the mirror already exists, and you're aligning your energy to it is essentially what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't.
So I'm going to add, and of course I come from this businesswoman, but I negotiate with my body. I negotiate with the guides, with the healers. I'm like, let's get at the table. We're going to talk about this. Because for whatever, you say, just love it or don't put attention to it. But, wrinkles. I live across from the beach. I've walked the beach my whole life, operating under the old theory that, oh, the sun, you get aged and wrinkled and skin cancer. Well, I'm kind of new on the field of being like, that's fucking bullshit. I'm not going to put on a bunch of sunscreen. Sun is beautiful energy. So I'm reworking that whole belief system. And I take it to my body like, no, I'm not in agreement with this. This is not the version of my truest, most luminous essence. So we're going to work on this. So I don't not love it as I am. I love myself enough to say, I would like it this way. This is an expression of my truest vision and version of me. So let's get busy. We're going to start reworking some things. Now, I know that's maybe a stretch of a conversation, but I am the one that likes to break the boundaries of, what's possible, but that's the next step in this. If you are at that point, rework it. If you want your body to look and feel different, start having active conversations. For me, literally at a cellular level, jam out on it.
Yeah. Give instructions. We do have free will, and and it's you're tapping into higher intelligence and saying, I want some rejuvenation action going on. And here's a fun one that anybody can try at home. And I've done this because I love playing in this field myself. Saying, if you say, for example, I hear people say all the time, oh, my nails never grow. Well, they're not going to grow. Say, my nails are hard as rocks and they grow like crazy. I used to say that about my hair. And I tell you, to this day, the girl that cuts my hair laughs her ass off when I go in now, because she said, you would come in, it would be almost at the same thing. And she said, I would have to and she said, what did you do? And I said, I stopped saying my hair doesn't, now I say it grows like a weed. Practice with something as simple as that, and just do it every day. My nails are hard as rocks and they grow. My nails are hard as rocks and they grow. You are literally putting that energetic. Now, you don't look at it the next day and go, but stay with it. It's just like any bullshit that you repeat from childhood became your reality. You let go of the bullshit story and start to notice, oh, wait, why am I saying that? Because I don't want that. So what do you want? And like Renee says, cancel and replace it with the opposite. You can do that too. Notice, though, when you are criticizing parts of your body that you want to change, and cancel it and replace it with the opposite, or give a juicy description that you can get into. Oh my gosh, my nails grow so fast, I can't believe it. I have to cut them every time I get a manicure, right? Oh, my hair is growing like a weed. And because, by the way, once you get into that energetic, you don't have to keep doing that. It gets in, you're aligned with the energy, and that's when the change comes into place. It absolutely, this is something that anybody can do. It's just sustaining the practice and shifting the belief. Like Tracy said, I challenge the thing with sunscreen all the time too. I love playing with that, because it's only a belief that, we've acquired, that you need to put this or else. And when you let that go, you can just say, oh, the sun's gonna be absolutely kind and loving to my skin today. Right? So, wow, this one flew by. Any closing thoughts, ladies?
I think we summed it all up for me.
And I just want to accentuate, have fun. I think in the end there, have fun, play. You're a creator. What do you want to see? What do you want to do? Fun, joy, celebrate, all those good ones.
Absolutely. How can you have fun with your body? What do you want to create? Right? Cool. Well, great discussion, ladies. And thank you for everyone who are liking and subscribing. We love you. And